Hello, and welcome to the UAE Netherlands Week, presented by the Office of the Public and Cultural Diplomacy at the UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation and the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to the United Arab Emirates. My name is Abdulla Albarakani, and I'm delighted to be the moderator of this new discussion part of the Youth Talk series in partnership with Abu Dhabi Youth Council. We have Nesrine and Sheikha today to talk about opening a business in general. So we're going to give the floor to Nesrine to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Abdullah, and
you're welcome.
Very nice to be here today. Unfortunately virtual, but I hope to be soon in the UAE. I'm calling from The Hague live, and so my name is Nesrine. I work for the City of Amsterdam as well as the national government in the Netherlands, and we have a department, Economic Affairs, that covers and helps and assists companies from outside the Netherlands, so international companies that are looking to establish themselves in the Netherlands or do business in Europe through the Netherlands. And my role is helping these companies to, and also SMEs, small companies, to start their business in Europe and in the Netherlands. And yeah, in recent years, I've also dealt a lot with the UAE and helped actually businesses from the UAE to be based in Europe.
Just to clarify for everyone's listening, what's SME?
Small businesses and enterprises.
Yeah, just to clarify.
Yeah, very good question.
Yeah. Okay, Sheikha, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sheikha. I'm working in EY, Abu Dhabi office, since almost 4 years now. I'm working as a senior consultant, and I hold a master's degree from AUS in accounting. Basically, I'm leading now the Youth Council of Abu Dhabi office for EY, and it's considered one of the, it's the first youth council for a global company in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you, Sheikha, for being here today. So today we're going to talk about starting a business in the UAE and in the Netherlands. As young entrepreneurs, how do you see the business climate in the Netherlands and the UAE? Nesrine, how about you go first?
If I may speak on behalf of the Netherlands, I think very favorable for young entrepreneurs. There is, well, since a few years, I think it came over from Silicon Valley, but kind of a startup vibe and feeling also in Europe, and especially Amsterdam, but also other cities in the Netherlands. They try to stimulate young entrepreneurs, and also classes now in high school and even before going into entrepreneurship to learn about what is entrepreneurship. And I don't know, we had a time, especially for my time during college and during studies, it wasn't really talked about the topic of entrepreneurship, and now you see it more and more. In my time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. As from my own experience in my university years, I only took one course and it was an elective about entrepreneurship. So I think the emphasis was not really much on that criteria. Yeah. How about you, Sheikha? What do you think?
I would say we can start like as the Dubai, if you all like remember, or maybe we can consider two things, like before oil and after oil. Before that, Dubai was, or UAE was considered like trading is the main thing for us to live. Like it's the source of income that UAE is relating for. So after oil, everything is changed. Like everyone, they need to get a job. They should consider that they do have like a steady income from their jobs. So most of the people, they were considering this part, and they were leaving like the way of thinking is changing. Like everyone was just looking for a job. They not even think to have like their own business, or the culture thing is different. So this thing was affected by the oil because it was, it changed the whole thing. But nowadays you can see like in all families, in all houses, they will have someone who is considering or they have a small business within their family. So it's a thing. Like we have to consider now everything is changing and the awareness is just going high, and even the government is just pushing everyone to have their own business and to start think out the box. Yeah. So I think this is like the topic nowadays, and everyone is just thinking how they can get a nice job or a nice business to start with. So
as I said, the mainstream idea was to get a job and then just get your payday and then that's it. But then entrepreneurship came in, and it's like basically from what I know is finding a gap in the market that you can provide and then solve that issue basically. So to promote entrepreneurship, what did the UAE do to promote entrepreneurship or motivate and encourage people to start their own businesses? We'll give Sheikha the
Yeah, so I think UAE was considering this, and they know that this is affecting the whole, the whole market, and even the economy is affected by this. I've been just reviewing the statistic, and the numbers were showing about this, and they're saying like 50% of the income or the employment is coming from business or SME, the small and medium business. So we can consider this is a huge percentage that the UAE, they're looking for, and they need to make sure that this area is just spotted and everyone is just taking like they do invest in this part. And I've been looking and I found like interesting thing, like we have a minister for small and medium businesses here in UAE.
Really? I didn't know that.
It was like in 2020, and imagine that this is in COVID. Like even here, when we discuss all of the things, we should consider also the new environment. Like things just
basically COVID came, and then it gave a big platform for entrepreneurship, as people wanted to get their things done or buy their products or whatever, but they didn't have the facilities to do that because everyone was in a lockdown. So that like basically created a new market.
Yeah.
Yes. It is. So the minister is mainly just to make sure that this area is just the government is giving the right support to them, and to make sure that the businesses is just going forward, and all facilities and everything they will need from government, like because at some point you will need some kind of support, or like government is just taking of those business, because in COVID everything like the whole the new normal is not the same before that. Like everyone should consider the new changes in the world. So I think this is a good thing to mention.
How about you, Nesrine? What's happening in the Netherlands? How do they encourage people to pursue or start their small businesses projects?
On various levels, of course, there is the government supporting and stimulating by various programs, and I think also a lot of has to do with to change the state of mind about starting a business, but also failing. We had, and sometimes we still have a big taboo in the Netherlands if you fail a business. So, and whereas if you go to the US, I know from experience, it counts how many times you failed. So people know, actually, especially investors know that they invest in experience as well. And how do you get yourself up? How do you deal with failure? How do you go further? And we had a big taboo about, if you fail one time, you kind of, people, it's like, okay, you didn't succeed as an entrepreneur, but it shouldn't stop there. So
it shouldn't.
So we tackled that, and we had like these sessions as well, and trying to also encourage mentorship and try to engage different level of so having very mature entrepreneurs also coaching young startups and young entrepreneurs to learn from their experiences. So these type of networking, also the government tries to engage in and tries to facilitate, so these interactions happen.
So they wanted to basically
it's
fix the mentality of the taboo failure. because we all know that like that's how you gain experience. You make mistakes.
True.
So it shouldn't be a taboo to make mistakes. Okay, yes, in a business it costs money, and then business is money. But at the end of the day, with experience comes like great results. I mean, we have in the UAE an entity called Khalifa Fund, which is basically you can say your project, and then like you need to have a study. You need to have you need to know your targeted audience and all of that. And they need to present it to like the board of Khalifa Fund, and then if they approve it, they provide you the financial support you need. But like, do you have a similar system in the Netherlands?
Yes, there are various regional funds as well that they focus on investing in businesses as well. But we try also to stimulate financing from VCs or all types of funding. And we had an issue, and actually I was engaged in that as well, that the Netherlands heavily depended on bank loans. So when the financial crisis came, a lot of businesses or a lot of entrepreneurs could not go and get a bank loan anymore. So we invested a lot in trying to educate people as well on new types of funding, like crowdfunding or kind of networks of VCs, etc., or getting money from abroad, and also help companies pitch, try to learn how to pitch in front of investors, what are the do's, what are the don'ts. So these type of programs we invested as well in as a government, and try to get together networks of funding options.
Yeah, and then with the stimulations comes encouragement. And if I see someone that I personally know land a big project with a big company, that means success. So I would want that for myself, and that would encourage me as well. So I can see the greater picture. Starting your own business, what's the process? Like, how do we? Let's say today I decide to start my own business. I know everything. I know the model. I know the market and all of that. How do I start? Let's say in the Netherlands.
All right, very easy, honestly. You can go to the Chamber of Commerce, register yourself for free, and basically you can have your own company. If you want to have a company with limited liability, that's also possible. And it used to be back in the days that you would had to put money on your bank account around 18 or 16,000 euros. You had to have it, and then you could start up a limited liability company. But for many years now, that amount was reduced to 0.01 cent. So anyone in the Netherlands, but also outside the Netherlands, can start a limited liability company. Go to the notary, set up the notary deed, and go and start ahead. So it's very easy to start a business.
And like, how much does it cost to, like, roughly, just in like an average, how much does it cost to pay for your trading license?
So actually not necessarily. It really depends what type of businesses. So let's say you go into fintech. Of course, you need the licensing for that through the Dutch Central Bank or the Authority of Financial Markets. But let's say you want to start a trading business, very simple as it is. You don't need any license in the Netherlands except for any export import agreements there are between countries and tax authority, but no need to actually have a license other than to what type of products are you importing and what are the requirements for those products, what do you need to hold. But just registering a business, being a business, doesn't cost you any license or permits
That's really nice. That makes it so much easier for entrepreneurs, honestly. Sheikha, do you know anything about the process of making a business in the UAE?
I just checked online. They mention it like you can do it in 15 minutes. You can just, they put all the links. You have to pay, of course, some fees for license and so on. And you can just have your own company in 15 minutes. So it is,
from personal experience, but I wanted Sheikha to start on that topic. It is actually very easy to do that. It's all online, basically. You don't even need to leave.
Even like before, one of the challenges was for if someone is wanna start their own business, they should have their own offices, or they should have their main offices here in UAE.
Yeah.
You know, this thing is just changed since last year. They have declare about you can have virtual place, like you can do your own business virtually. No need to come even to Dubai. So it is or to UAE. It's so easy nowadays. So yeah.
Yeah, very interesting, because I really remember my days in the UAE that we would always say to Dutch entrepreneurs that were looking to do business in the UAE that they really have to invest their time and go visit, be there actually present. But you know, the world has changed now in
Yeah,
the
of
past
course.
year. We're doing trade missions online now. Ministers don't even leave their office, and they're like with a delegation in another country. And I'm really curious what does that mean for the business mentality in the UAE? Like, if you want to do cross border, let's say entrepreneurs from the UAE or Dutch entrepreneurs want to do business in the UAE, can you do that online nowadays? It doesn't, you know, physically.
I think this will save a lot of cost.
Yeah.
Like if you are a business owner, you will consider this thing, because in COVID, yeah, mostly they don't even use the office. Like for
Exactly.
us, for our company, they just switch off, or they close one floor at all, because we not even use it. So I think if you are thinking from a investor perspective, it is saving a lot of cost,
Yeah.
like traveling, finding the right place, and
Yeah.
even like this is unnecessary thing. Yani now even your mentality is changing. Like you're not even thinking about the place or where you should
Yeah,
start.
exactly.
Yeah.
You should think only how you're gonna have a nice, or how you choose your business, and how it's gonna be adding value to the society in general.
Definitely. A part of in order to make like a trading license in the UAE, one of the trading license that the UAE provides, they I think Abu Dhabi Commerce, Economic Commerce, if I'm correct, they allow you to make your own business like trading license, with the exception of not having any employees under the license, nor a place of business for 2 years.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah, that really helps, because that saves you costs of rent and employees, so you can run your own business by yourself at home. I think like we can, from this discussion, I think we can transfer some of the ideas or the action that happened here, and then we take from you guys and you guys take from us.
Yeah.
So
True.
I mean that's one big thing we can take from this discussion, honestly.
For sure. No, so honestly, I have to say, even before COVID, there was this possibility in the Netherlands that you can be, you can just start your own business, have like a business license or a Chamber of Commerce registration without having any employees, and that's like a self-employee, like you're a self-employee.
Exactly.
And then you can go and work at other businesses. And even because when COVID happened, and when also the government incentives, they were looking first at where is your office, are you registered, and do you get like support from the government, and that triggered discussions, because a lot of companies now are web shops. They only need like a website and maybe some storage room, but not necessarily not necessarily an office space. And even the foreign companies now, the government used to have, still maybe has requirements that you need like a physical office space, a substance they call it. So they want to know that you're doing actually business in the Netherlands, and you have an office space, you are recruiting employees. But everything is now so digitally, and even companies start and let employees work from home, that I think the whole office space will get a major shift, and this will also change the way we think of doing business.
Even they did a survey for the current employment, like if you are employee, they ask like most of the employee, what do you prefer? Do you prefer working remotely or do you prefer going back to the office? And 60% was just they agreed that they want to just have the work remotely. They don't want to go back to the offices because you have this time flexible. Like you can do whatever you want. You can manage your time. You can do other things.
No, even we are talking about when we go back to working at the office, it will stay a hybrid kind of a construction.
I think so too.
Yeah, maybe
so
2
too,
days,
definitely.
and the rest of the day you will work from home. And I do sometimes ask myself, if you start a business with new employees, young, maybe even the young generation going into working now, how that will affect and how do you keep them motivated, and so I'm not sure if there are dealings with this in the
It is quite hard. It is quite hard because I have a friend that came to me. He's like, I started my company, it was going okay, but then since we started working remotely, people were like not really enthusiastic as much.
Yeah.
He's like, I always treated the people like my family, as a family members, not really as business partners or like you work for me. Like I had that leadership style. But it's like, honestly, everyone's just really laid back. So I'm thinking of changing my leadership style.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these things are like really, what do you say, like challenges of like working remotely.
And I do sense this more with people that just recently start their business, or they're just year or 2 year, and so new team, etc. And they find it very difficult to, they're still experiencing like, okay, developing themselves as a leader and a boss, and then have to deal also with how to keep your employees captivated and motivated from a distance. So that's where I see a lot of these type of entrepreneurs. They're still looking for office space, flexible as well. So we have a lot of business centers in the Netherlands where you hire or where you rent like flexible office space. You can change it every month, go big or go small, and they have all these nice extras like table football, etc. So to
create a very friendly work environment, basically
playful environment.
It's like, as long as you're just really enjoying it, so you're just gonna do the maximum. So a work environment is really important, especially for startups, because we all have one goal that needs to work. So where do you think corporate social responsibility lies for you?
Good question. If we look at how we deal with corporate social responsibility these days, it's really in female entrepreneurship. It's but also giving back. So attracting employees that are that do not necessarily or have difficulties to find a job than average. So really try to give opportunities to these employees as well, and that means investing a little bit more time and effort to train them. And more also physical office space. So I think before corporate social responsibility was really just like, you had a sense, okay, but now everything extra the employer does, like, okay, try to work out solutions with employees of dealing during COVID is feels like corporate social responsibility as a
and then try to work with people based on their skills, not their qualification. So just to allow more people into that.
I think after COVID, like, I mean, globally, everyone's just considering this area because it is important. Like when we had like the COVID, no one was even expected that we will go through all of this. Like the world is changing, everything is changing, and even the financial part is coming after the health part, the mental part, the family part, and everything. So we should consider those things because it's gonna stay. I mean, from our experience, like for a Big Four or for a global company, we do have like one service line is just taking care of this area. They are giving trainings. They are making sure to upskills other companies or doing like extra courses or workshops or just helping the community, or to help others to just they start their own businesses, or they just maybe for ladies, or maybe because we do have like for ladies, some of them they're not working, like they are mothers, they have their own children or something, and they need to restart again to have their own life, or go back to the work, or they have their own business. So this is one of the area we should like
Just
now
focus on,
nowadays. Yes. So yeah.
I have a question. So basically, we all support like SMEs in the Netherlands and in the UAE based on like, how about working together from like, let's say I have as an SME and then you have one, and then me, like, do you guys work with like foreign SMEs or just the local ones?
Yeah, no, so basically we're always looking to support companies that are looking to do business outside the Netherlands, because, you know, I don't think you would say, but the Netherlands and the UAE have a lot of similarities. We're both trading countries, we have trading mentality,
Yes,
and we need like the outside world to do business actually. The
100%.
Netherlands is too small as a market in itself, and everyone knows if companies come to the Netherlands to do the business, they're coming for Europe. I mean, it's based in the Netherlands, but they do business with Germany, France, UK, because that's where the big markets are. And I think there's a lot of similarity with that in, for example, Dubai or Abu Dhabi. They're hubs, and the
Yeah,
markets
literally. So
are
yeah, exactly. We use our countries as hubs for the
exactly.
countries, like for the regions surrounded.
Yeah, what I found always difficult is because the Dutch always automatically look at US or Germany to go global, but and the UAE, and I think the Middle East in general, is a very attractive market. You have a lot of young people. You're very like mobile as well, so on the internet, connective as well. And if you look at, you know, these innovative solutions and more the new innovation that's coming, I think there is a lot similarities that our entrepreneurs don't know yet, and I think also vice versa. I don't know how UAE entrepreneurs think about Netherlands when they think about doing business and expand internationally, but I think we can definitely build a bridge between.
Yes, exactly. This is where I was taking this.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so now there are some like collaborations with like the foreign entrepreneurs, but how about building a bridge between Emirati or like UAE based entrepreneurs to like to build a bridge with the Netherlands entrepreneurs, and then we can, as I said to His Excellency Lodi, I said maybe we can do an exchange program like the students, but in businesses. How do you see it coming?
Yes, and actually I did something similar like this in 2017. And I think we just really need to build further on that, because from Amsterdam, we organized a trade mission to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and we had with us 5 or 6 startups, and they're all very young. One was in education, very funny, but they were actually the ones that if you take exams from your house, they made everything secure. So that was their startup, and in these days, in these times, this is very essential.
Be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everyone's doing exams from home.
Yeah. And we had a few startups, and we had a pitch event with the Dubai Chamber of Commerce, and one of the Dutch startups won the pitch conference, and I believe they got like some free office space and some, you know, guidance and assistance. So this is really nice, and we can do that as well in the Netherlands. Yeah,
yes,
for
definitely.
UAE startups.
Yes.
So and I think, and it was really for them an introduction to the Middle Eastern market, not only UAE, but also, you know, from there expanding to other markets in the Middle East. learn about what are the possibilities. What are the sectors the UAE is investing in. You had the Future Foundation that was really into innovation and stimulating entrepreneurship as well. So we learned all about that during that trip, and I think it's really nice to do something like that also in the Netherlands for UAE entrepreneurs.
Yes, definitely. I really
we
hope.
have like a Hub 71. It just like it's here. It's based in Abu Dhabi, and it is one of the thing was invested by government to have a strong financial market in Abu Dhabi, because before Dubai was our main financial market, and nowadays Abu Dhabi is doing this as well. So we I think Hub is one of the 71 is one of the tech company who just bringing all talents all over the world just to see what kind of project we can support them from UAE based, and just help them to upgrade their ideas and businesses. So yeah,
it's like a business stimulator.
I
so
see.
You have the talent, you have you have the like the plan and everything, and just like supercharge your program.
In the UAE, because I know from the city of Amsterdam, they did something, and I think they still do. They call it Startup in Residence, and that's a program where they invite startups to. It's like a few months program. You actually learn also the people that buy in all the services for the city as well, and normally you don't get easy in contact with these people, because like you said, you have requirements, you have
exactly,
and normally only the big companies, they have the time and they have the effort and the capacity to go through all these requirements. So small companies don't even get easily like in between and
access to these people.
Exactly. And this was like you said, an acceleration program to push and help these startups with their good ideas. And if they finish the whole program and they succeed, then kind of everything opens.
That's the ultimate goal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Part of the government, like in the economy of commerce, that will literally help you overcome these difficulties, and then help you establish your business in like all lawfully way.
Yeah. Very nice. And also sometimes, talent is, for example, always, especially nowadays, very important. How do you get the right talent? Where do you need to recruit them? But also, what are the labor laws? I know in the Netherlands, when companies or entrepreneurs from outside the Netherlands come into the Netherlands to do business, they don't know necessarily how the Dutch labor law works, or taxation, or sometimes small things like opening a bank account. And these type of things are like you said, from my department, the government, we provide that as a service to these companies and entrepreneurs. Where do you need to go? Who do you need to get in contact with if you need, for example, advice on how to structure your company legally, like how do you do business in the UAE? What are the laws? If you come from outside, do you need like a local trade partner, like those things?
Exactly. So the government actually made changes to that law. Sheikha, you can elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, the ownership used to have like 51% for local. You need to have a partner local. But nowadays, because the market is changing, and UAE is considering how to attract more investors to Abu Dhabi or to UAE in general, so they are now allowing investors to have their own ownership.
Yeah, and then also they introduce remote work. If you can explain that, Sheikha.
It's I think they call it virtual. Dubai Virtual City. I'm not sure about the name. It's basically they can have their offices like it's a virtual thing. Like you have your own license virtual. You can start, and everything is just virtual. So I think this is a smart move from UAE, because it's considering the new changes in the market. So it's easy for everyone to have an access to online thing, and they don't have anymore to travel or have other
Yeah.
costs.
You can run your
Because-
business from your country, from your literally living in.
And I think at
And
some
it's in
point,
a whole different region, like half across the world.
Yeah.
I think at some point this is gonna be globally. It's not just about UAE. Everywhere they will have the same thing. So yeah.
Very
so I think-
interesting. Yeah, very interesting. And I think these types of changes are very helpful to young entrepreneurs that are looking to, expand quickly, because, in the world of startups, it's not only about having a good idea, but also who
Execution.
exactly, and how fast can you scale? Because you can have a very good idea, but if the competitor has the same idea and immediately knows the way to investors, knows the way to new markets, then it's their portion of the market against yours.
If you because most investors, when they started, they assume that the cost will be like this amount, and then when it comes to reality, they will find out they will pay more, way more than what they expected. So even this part, like when I was reading about the new minister about how to start your small or medium SME project or something, so they are helping you how to calculate your cost. I mean, this is it's not something like you will have approximate idea how much it's gonna cost you to have this business. So I think this is one of the thing. So technology everywhere. So if they are applying this things, they will benefit.
Exactly. So the main idea is to promote business, is to facilitate business to local and foreign investors. We can see from what Nesrine told us that the Netherlands are making insane amounts of changes to improve and to encourage and boost entrepreneurs in the Netherlands and the UAE, as well as all of the examples mentioned from the Economic of Commerce and Hub 71 and all that. Thank you guys very much for this lovely session. We learned a lot about the Netherlands, and we learned a lot about the UAE laws and entrepreneurship. And we really hope that more bridges will be built for an exchange of businesses from the Netherlands and the UAE. Thank you guys again for your time.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to have you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this.